My name is Dylan Taylor and I breed jumping spiders. I kind of got the idea to do it like sort of on the fly. I kept a few wild jumping spiders after I'd sort of initially gotten over a phobia that I had lifelong. Sort of got over that phobia through doing things like pest control and having to interact with them on a regular basis. So sort of got an appreciation for spiders through that. Then I eventually decided to buy my own jumping spider from a breeder. I guess they ended up not actually being a breeder. They were selling wild spiders and not really telling anybody. And we just happened to look in the enclosure one day and found about 200 little black dots in there and didn't really know exactly what to do with them. So the business was sort of born from there. And we just ended up building and to the point where I was able to, within about a year and a half, leave my job and start doing this just full time. We at some point would like to have a facility, give ourselves a little bit of room back, but everything's basically just run straight out of our home at the moment. I've just really developed a strong love for the spiders. I mean, it used to be like polar opposites. It was my job to eliminate them, and now it's like my whole life is surrounding by just basically just keeping them alive the best that I can, making sure they get to good homes, that kind of thing. We'll be at expos sometimes, and there'll be people that'll stay 4 or 5 feet away from the table, don't want anything to do with them until they sort of see a spider dancing around on my hand, and then they're like, "What's going on over here?" And then they sort of develop this like intrigue, and some of them even leave with a spider that day. Some of them end up calling me later, and then same thing with all their friends. Their friends start getting into them. It's just like this thing that just sort of happens. It sort of grows on a lot of people. It's like this little lovely virus that sort of spreads as you get to know people and they sort of get to know more about the spiders. Well, we usually start out, I mean, once they sort of hatch out of their egg sac, they'll sort of stay with mom for a couple weeks, and then they'll start to leave the nest. And once they leave the nest and sort of stay out, we put them in like communal containers, and usually they'll stay in there for sometimes 4 or 5 molts until they start to show aggression. That's when we'll usually start to separate them out into their own individual cups. At that point, we'll sort of give them their own feeders. We start them off with little fruit flies and just sort of size up the prey as they get bigger. We'll get them on crickets, mealworms, things like that. And then usually around their 6th or 7th molt, that's when we start sort of adopting them out. We've had random cases where we had like one that molted like 13 times. But usually around 9 or 10 is when they fully mature. It's wild to see an invertebrate. I mean, you think something has to have a physical brain to really think, but they've proven that you don't. I mean, just the fact that you can train them to do certain things. I mean, we've got some spiders that'll eat out of little feeder cups, and they know when it's time to eat. They'll go tap on their little cup when they want us to throw something in there. That you can train them to jump longer distances, jump on command, things like that. So, I mean, it's actually pretty interesting. We've had like this one little spider ended up molting. It had a mismolt, ended up with only 2 legs. But made it completely fine through its entire life. It still hunted, ended up growing back some of those legs through future molts. But just, I mean, honestly, how resilient they are and just how easily they are able to sort of adapt to change and that kind of thing. There's usually a certain percentage that you do lose, which is probably why they have so many offspring. I mean, a single like regal jumping spider, which is usually the most common ones you'll see, they can have up to 800 offspring within a 6-month period. I mean, they're definitely like not like a lot of other spiders. Every other kind of spider just sort of scatters, but the jumpers just sit there and like watch you. And just, I mean, it's wild how just they seem to sort of lock on and just sort of study you. Compared to any other invertebrate, I mean, again, they are definitely some of the most intelligent, personable, like social animals I've seen. You always do your research, but honestly, I mean, there's not much to caring for them. I mean, environmental-wise, they don't really have a lot of specific requirements for most species you'll find in the U.S. As long as they got lots of stuff to climb around on and hide in, they're pretty content just about anywhere. I've never seen any kind of invertebrate interact with people the way the jumping spiders do. Like, they literally get to know you on a personal level. They'll remember your face. Harvard a few years ago did a study with them. They found they hit REM sleep at night, which means they think, they dream. So, I mean, they're just completely sentient beings like a cat or a dog or any kind of animal. So definitely they develop those bonds. They can be trained. Like, it's just unreal working with them and seeing just how intelligent they are.